Hey there, Stitchers. Let's talk about Satin Stitch. I'm Debbie Hodge from StitchStories.com, and our newest kit, Rainy Day, has a whole bunch of satin stitches going on in the boots. So let's talk about techniques for satin stitching. I do often hear from you. Okay, so I so appreciate those of you who share on Instagram. There's Sarah and Kathy and Jennifer, and I'm trying to remember who it was who recently said they were so pleased with how their satin stitch turned out in Lucky Circle. And this is a great place if you've not satin stitched, if you want something small to practice on. These little bits right here are satin stitched. And the way that I go about all my satin stitches is I find a long line, a first long line to place to establish the angle. That's the key with satin stitching. You want to keep all the stitches at the same angle. And so I would go with the first long stitch through the middle. And then I would do one halfway between that one and the outer edge of the shape. Same thing on the other side. And then I would fill in because my angle has been established. So that's a simple spot to start. The other thing is when I do satin stitch, I usually use 3 strands of floss instead of 2. Almost always I'm using 2 strands, but when I do satin stitch, I like to use 3. It makes the work go faster, just fills it out more nicely. And 3 I can usually get into the regular needle that I use. 4 I have to bump down to a bigger, a larger eye size on my needle. We also have some small bits of satin stitching on Easter Fluffle, those little circles inside the eggs. Oh, and keep an eye on things. Next week I should have some stick and stitches for you. That's where we have that sticky backed paper where you can, you can cut out your motif, peel away the back, stick it on something and stitch it. I'll have some of these Easter eggs for you next week. So now let's talk about rainy day, because the boots offer some challenges. So I talked about how we want to find the first long line that's going to establish how other lines are going to go. So start with the black boots over here because they're not broken up, and you want to find a line, the longest line, but you don't want it to be tremendously long. So with these boots I go at about a 45-degree angle from, let's see, upper left to bottom right, because so if I go that way, about the longest line I'm going to have is right about here where the boot and the heel meet. But if I go the other way, you can see you may end up with a really long line going right across to the toe. So go this way, about 45-degree angle on these boots. I think it looks much better. I tried it straight across. You don't want to go up and down. That's just too long. It's going to be too loose and hard to get to look good. So start with the black boots, do that. Now when it comes to these other boots, there's little shapes inside, so you're going to have to find your angle through them and decide what's going to be the most efficient. So the first thing you want to do with these is you want to outline those little shapes inside of the boot with small back stitches. Aren't these fun? I played with a lot of ways to design this too, and I thought these gave the closest look to those fun boots that kids have with all kinds, or even fun adults have with the shapes and the colors. So outline those shapes, but don't outline the outer boot. Same thing with the black boots. Don't outline the outer boot with the split stitch until you've done all the satin stitch. So you're just going to outline the little bits, then you'll fill them, then you'll fill around them, then you'll outline the boot. So to find your angle with these apricot boots, I found an angle that it's going the opposite diagonal from the black boots, but it is about 45 degrees. And it goes right in between these two hearts. And then that was the most efficient line I found. And then for the yellow boots, I went for a diagonal that's it's about the same as the peach ones. So you'll outline the little shapes, you'll fill the little shapes with satin stitch, then you'll fill around them with satin stitch at a diagonal, and then you'll outline the whole boot. And I separated, with the yellow boots, I separated the stitching between the top and the bottom. I didn't run across that. So those are my tips on satin stitch. And these little dots on the umbrella are sort of like mini. I'm thinking of these as really rough satin stitches. What I did to render each of these, and I wrote about it in the stitching guide, is 1 long stitch in the middle and then 2 short stitches on either side. And of course the long stitch is really short, but it gives a fun little look on the umbrella. With the wallpaper here, I tried this with many stitches. I think it looks the very best when you use whipped back stitch to go around the medallions and around the circles, because it is really intricate, and there's these little jig jags you want to get, and the best way to get them is with the whipped back. So what you would do is you'd outline the medallion completely with a back stitch, and then you'd wrap around. That's how you get the whipped back. So what I do is I come up at the bottom of the medallion, and I will whip up to the first curve, go back down in, and then I'll come up sort of on the side, and I'll whip back down, and again go in there. So in other words, I'm whipping sections, and I'm going back down right where the indents are, and that's how I'm getting that nice definition of the curve. I do try to whip the same way all the time. All right, I think that's what I've got to say for that. Hopefully I wasn't holding that off camera. I hope that you're all anticipating spring happily. We do have a lot of fun spring designs in the shop with nice bright colors for you. And yeah, so happy stitching, and I'll be back soon.